What's going on, BenchWarmers? Welcome back to I don't know how to describe this episode.
Spooky?
Because
Spooky. You gotta call it spooky because we're very close to Halloween.
I guess it's a
Scary
spooky episode. Forget. And I'll
Forget.
tell you why. And who's Gat, right? We'll get into that in just a second. But I'm so excited today because we have another voice that's joining us on the bench, and we're gonna get into some awesome Premier League action that happened this past weekend and the big matches across Europe. But before we get into all that, I am one of your hosts. My name is Eric, the Instigator. I got
My name is Nico, the Nick.
him.
Marco the Interrupter, yes.
Thank you, Marco.
What's up?
And a round of applause, drum roll, everything. John, aka Gat. Or what do you prefer?
Surusa.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm gonna call you Gat because I'm just so accustomed
I'm
to
pretty
it
sure
now.
no one has me saved in their phones as
No.
John. Anyway,
I actually do.
it is what it is.
I have you
I
as
do,
John.
but I just
No.
I have
Call
Dyer
me
as
Gat.
Dyer.
I have you as John in parentheses Gat Sosa.
Well, whatever you prefer, also known as the one who beat Marco in the head-to-head.
Oh,
That is true.
oh,
That's the
I-
last.
So
That's the last time you
right.
said
Whatever
something.
you guys want.
So so he was on. He has been on the pod before.
This
so
is the reason why I no longer make bets with anybody. Because I lose them all.
Banned from betting FC.
Back from betting IC, and I'm struggling, bro.
So if you're watching, you can see what jersey he's wearing. If you're listening, you're probably wondering what team he supports, or not. You may know from before. He's a Manchester United fan. So he has a lot to talk about today. I'm sure he has his talking points ready, so that way he's not.
Oh,
Cop.
they played over the weekend? I didn't realize.
Oh, I'm sure you didn't.
No. Oh, I
'Cause
thought they were
I
off.
don't think anybody realized
they-
they played this
no.
weekend. That's how
Apparently
bad
they
that's
didn't.
how bad the
They,
game
got,
was.
they already forgot about it.
They don't have a bye
5-0
week
what?
like they
No,
do in
they-
football.
0-5 what?
They didn't play. That's
That's
Yeah, I
not a
didn't think
joke?
we played this weekend.
Liverpool's playing
Weren't
against,
we-
like some other team.
We had a bye.
Oh,
we had a bye
yeah.
weekend like in American football.
Something like that, bro.
Okay.
Something like that. But
You're right.
before we get into this weekend's matchups, because again, there's a lot to talk about, and I don't want to keep wasting any more time. But we do want to have to give you our socials. Gat. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna fuck with you, Mark. You up for the challenge?
I bet he knows them. I would.
All right, Gat. So if they want to give us, leave us a little comment, catch us on the lives during halftime when we do those. Where can they do that?
Yeah, you can do that on any of your social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. BenchWarmers FC1.
I mean, that's actually
Bro.
very on point. So, round of applause for you, Gat. Kudos.
for a first time, I think we all struggled.
Why not?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, dedicated supporter over here.
Yeah, man. So they said, look, dedicated supporter. Now he's on here with us. He's gonna be a regular guest. Is my future sites right now. So, Gat, thank you so much for actually doing very good on that. Marco, I'm testing you. Where can they watch us and do all the other stuff that you should be saying?
All right, so they can watch us on 2 different platforms.
Oh.
Hopefully,
Okay.
one is
Hopefully.
YouTube, BenchWarmers FC TV, and
Okay.
the other one is Twitch,
Oh,
BenchWarmers FC. As long as Eric decides to record
Oh.
or stream.
Apparently, I'm the only one that has a streaming platform because
He
Marco
does.
has a whole setup and doesn't use it. So, jokes on who, really?
You're the best one. You're the most
and
For
if
real,
you
he's
go
the
on-
one. Yeah, right.
He's the experienced one.
And if you go on YouTube, please hit the notification bell so you know when we have new content coming out. Leave us a review, a comment. It definitely helps us out with everything. We're still figuring out that whole algorithm to kind of get into, I guess, more people's faces. So all your support is very, very appreciated. So thank you for all that. Now, are we ready for? Oh, actually, we gotta shout some people out. You know what? We'll say that for next pod because there's a list of you listeners that are not only from the U.S. of A. but across the world. So we want to thank everybody, and we will definitely do that on the next pod. So keep an ear out for that. In the meantime, let's kick it off. You ready?
Let's
Yes.
do it.
All right. So first game that happened was kicked off on Friday. I'm repping the colors right now. Marco's repping the beautiful kit as well. Arsenal hosted Aston Villa in a 3-1 rout. I mean, I felt pretty good this entire game. But before we actually dissect it, Marco, I believe last pod, you predicted what for this game?
2-1,
2-1, and you said a draw.
I said 1-1.
Okay.
and you said 2-0.
I said 2-0. Yeah, I mean, I had the right goal differential, but the wrong scoreline, so none of us got it. But still, overall, great performance. Very happy to see that the young kids actually stepped up huge this game. Now we're starting to see the consistency in getting the result. We're unbeaten in the last, I believe, 5 or 6 now.
6.
Six. Emil Smith-Rowe is finding the goals, is finding the assists, so he's getting involved. He's becoming that 10 that we expect him to be. And Aubameyang has found a new form, and I think that's all thanks to the fans. He's a showman. he has to perform in front of people, and the fact that he's just hustling and busting out there
He's
is
fired
insane.
up now. You see him running up and down the pitch.
Yeah.
He's into it.
Yeah, he's exactly.
He's
Thank
into
you.
it.
He's into it, and
into it.
it's exciting to see that. But Marco, so first thing about this game, it started off a goal. Party's first goal. How did you expect it to be a goal like that, or what did you expect? It was be a Party screamer from 18 yards out, like we were all expecting, but he's constantly killing birds. R.I.P. birds.
Yeah, yeah. So for Party specifically, I always thought that it was going to be a screamer because we always see him consistently shooting outside the 18, right? But for this game specifically, you saw him being the target of all those corner kicks, and he was the one that was receiving the ball and heading. And he had already missed one or two previous to his goals. So it kind of looked like that was the direction that we were going with, and he ended up scoring on his third try. I think he had more. I think he had like 5 or 6, but you only scored one of them.
Yeah.
Expected now. It was such a phenomenal game to watch. I texted you and texted Dimmy, and I was excited throughout the whole game.
So the reason why I bet Party up specifically because last game he was so poor, and this game he was so good. And the one thing I thought that kind of stood out, and you called the last episode, is if Lacazette were to start, we were gonna play that 4-4-2, which when you saw the lineup, I thought it was gonna be like a 4-2-3-1. But that's how they lined up. They lined up in a 4-4-2, and then it was very Wenger-ish era where Bergkamp was at number 10 role, and he would drop in, help build up the play. Lacazette it was very old school Arsenal, I guess you could say. And I mean, you called it on the money. He was going to line up that way, and he did line up that way.
Yeah, I mean, what I saw was he started off with a 4-4-2, which ended up transitioning into a 4-2-3-1. And
well, Lacazette being the second striker.
But Lacazette pulling back a little bit. Actually, you saw him. He busted his ass the whole game, dropping deep, recovering the ball, pushing it up, and then making the run to see if he can actually be there to assist for a goal or a pass. And bro, it was crazy. But yeah, no, I mean, you saw the glimpses throughout the whole game. A 4-4-2, then a 4-2-3-1. And yeah, I mean, they had mentioned that was going to be a possible route. I didn't expect it to be so soon, but I did call it out saying that I would like to see it, and it worked, and I liked it.
Yeah, so we'll see if he sticks to that. I think it's by far probably the best game we've seen under Arteta as far as just dominant for the whole performance.
Yeah, it was consistent throughout the whole game. Yes, and you called it. You said they're gonna watch them drop after the first goal, and it's true.
They dropped for
the way that they after they scored the first goal, they dropped on how much pressure they were putting, but they were still putting the pressure, and they still and they would pick it up, and they wouldn't let us Aston Villa do anything. They would recover the ball and keep it, and then we started seeing more passes. How many passes we would see throughout the game. So yes, they slowed down a little bit because I think Arteta also asked them to slow down, but it was a consistent slow. It was not a consistent slow. It was consistently. They were consistent throughout the whole game, and that's the important part.
Yeah, so now it wasn't Aubameyang pressing alone. It was a team press, and it was actually nice to watch. Again, probably the best game I've seen under Arteta.
Do you think with Arteta, do you think he's gonna be like kind of switching formations and tactical setups a lot, or do you think he's gonna stick to one?
I think
for the majority of the season.
I think he's gonna be, if not a mirror image, but a very, 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 very apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Pep Guardiola style.
Is this your consistent starting 11 going forward with how well they played?
No.
What would you change?
What would I change? So, Lacazette's not going to be there. I don't think he's going to be starting as much. Although, I think we do perform with him better on the pitch in certain games. I told Marco this before. Right now, he's not going to be there next season. So, those minutes are more valuable to a player who is going to be there next season. And Odegaard, who is a number 10, actually. Or that could play that role. I don't know what the best 11 is. It's just because I would want to say that Arsenal can play their style of football each time around, but the reality of where we are in our current game is we still have to adjust game by game. You know, maybe against the credit to them, but like the lower opposition, we can play our style game. But like going against like a Liverpool, for example, we can't. I don't think he's going to line up in a way where we're going to be able to be on the front foot the entire time. He's probably going to, put more defensive pieces in there. So right now, just because of the youth of the team, I don't think he's going to stick to one formation every single game. I think he's in a constant rotation just to kind of find a good chemistry. And I think right now, as far as the back four, as far as Emil Smith Rowe and Saka, those are kind of and Aubameyang, those are names on the team sheet every weekend, no questions about that. It's just a matter of finding in those extra pieces. Is Odegaard going to be the guy, or is Lacazette going to be the guy? Is Pepe going to be the guy, or is Martinelli going to be? It all depends, So I think to answer your question, is he going to change it each time? I would hope not too much. At least keep it within the same ideal realm where it's high press and possess the ball. If he sticks to that kind of gameplay, whether it changes the formation or not, I'm fine with it. Yeah. But if he changes game style each single time, then it's gonna fall back to the Emery days where every day was different. You don't know what the fuck you're gonna get.
Yeah, I feel like that's mostly gonna be the midfield where you're gonna have to keep an eye out because we know who's gonna be the back four. We know most likely the top 2 or 3 they're gonna be. So the ones that are gonna be rotating, the ones that you're gonna see different variations of will be the middle 3. Yeah. Party, Zombie, or Shaka. Party and stuff like that.
I mean, and since you mentioned like the midfield options, like if Party, Lakanga, or when Xhaka comes back, if they can chip in with like a couple goals from the midfield, like it'll be like so much more helpful because any team when they get contributions from the midfield, it just eases so much pressure off the attackers. Like I'm sure we'll dive into Liverpool, but like Liverpool right now, they're getting a lot of goal contributions from the midfield, which they haven't done before. Wijnaldum, but now they do, and Arsenal as well. So we'll see if they can get some contributions. So.
Yeah, man, and that's a huge thing, midfield contributions. And one team that didn't contribute at all in this first half was Aston Villa with 0 xG, now 1 shot registered. And again, a midfielder who isn't showing up, Buendia. He went to Aston Villa. He was their marquee signing for the summer. They lost Grealish. He took the number 10 jersey. He's supposed to, fill in those shoes, but he's been very, very underwhelming.
He was hella off this past game. You saw that the consistent missed passes that he had throughout the whole game. I mean, yes, there was a lot of pressure for this one, but still, those you can't let those go.
And then you also got to look at, they also brought in Ings. So yes, they lost a big name like Grealish, but you would think that they brought in good enough guys that would be able to, turn things around, and it kind of worked in the beginning, but they're slipping now.
Yeah, the past I think 3 games have all been losses. So, Buendia has,
jeez,
I think if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think the stat is they lost the last 3 games.
Yeah, I mean you can convert something from but yeah, and they're in somewhat questionable form. Sorry, they're in bad form right now, but they should be able to bounce back from that. Did you have any questions on the Aston Villa?
Nah.
Okay, on the Villa, sorry. One thing that did stand out to me was Emi Martinez, getting shit from the fans. Three losses. So
he is 1 win, 1 tie, 3 losses.
Martinez is goated.
I mean, look, I was cursing him out that day. Trust me, because when he went up to Lacazette, started spin each other. When he was yelling for the yellow card for Aubameyang, I was like, y'all, you're pissing me off now. Like, fuck you. I started yelling it. At the end of the day, I still hold up for him because I love a goalie who will talk shit and back it up because he backs it up and he blocked the penalty.
He still exactly. I was about to say that he still saved the penalty.
It was a great save. Great, and he almost got the second one too.
And he just barely missed it.
He was an inch or 2
off.
Oh,
dude,
I think it actually scraped his finger.
Yeah, but credit to Martinez. He's a great goalkeeper. He didn't get his luck, but I think Ramsdale is still our better option
than Martinez.
Yeah. His distribution from the back is actually very fucking impressive.
Oh, you called one out that he had. That was he told everybody to move up, and they just kicked it to the right and kind of landed perfectly in front of Saka, I believe.
Oh, dude, his distribution is completely I did not expect it from him, so I'm happy. I'm happy with the way with the recruitment and how things are looking right now. Hopefully it continues that way. But Arsenal did win that game 3-1. Let's go. This weekend we have who do we have? I think we have Leicester this weekend.
Yes, we have Leicester.
So we'll definitely go into predictions on the next pod.
Yep, 7:30 on Saturday.
The next game we have here is Chelsea versus Norwich. 7-0 rout. Mason Mount, Hattie. No Werner, no Lukaku. No problem.
No, and it's been like that all season, even with Lukaku there. He came on, he scored a couple goals in the beginning, but where have the goals been coming from ever since? It's been primarily the defense. You saw today it came out of the midfield. Kovacic
To your
even had
point.
a hell of a game too. He had 2 assists. He was, he did really well controlling the midfield also. So, I mean, I was listening to another podcast. Primarily, it's a fantasy podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the questions that one of the guys brought up is that the issue might not be Lukaku. It might just be that number 9 role in general with Chelsea, because they're not really getting much out of the forwards.
So they're missing. So wait, who would you say is the one that's I guess holding them back?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Number
I mean,
9.
do they need? I don't know if they need a number. They have Lukaku. I mean,
Yeah, I mean
who else?
maybe number 10, but that I always thought Mason Mount fit that mold. The creative player that they were missing.
He was also out for about a month,
And he was
so
out.
maybe now that he's back, maybe things will change.
We'll see. I mean, Werner still can't score for the life of him, so that's one thing he has to figure out how to do. I'm sure he'll get 1 or 2 goals.
So like with the questions that I had like with Chelsea is just like although it is Norwich and whatnot, I just feel like if Lukaku maybe does not play, like in terms of like play in the final third, they probably may click better or flow better just because Lukaku isn't a link up. Well, he's a lot better now, but he's not
Post up.
he's not like a techie. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
So like with him not being in the striker position, you saw like although Havertz didn't score and he probably didn't do as much than as Mount or as Hudson-Odoi, it just flows a lot better just because they're a lot more. They can play in tighter spaces a lot more.
And when you do that, you drag players out of position, and then you create a lot more holes. And yeah, and then like to your point and to what you said, the goals coming from the midfield and the defense. So it sounds like a lot of set pieces and just open play,
They're coming from everywhere too. I think I don't remember the exact stat. If someone can look it up, but please don't quote me on this. Of the 20, 25 plus goals that Chelsea have scored so far this season, it's come from 17 or 18 different players. So everyone is contributing.
That's huge. And that's enormous. And that explains why they're contending for they're Champions League winners and they're fighting for the title as well. So, yeah. So Chelsea win that game 7-0. Everton lose to Wofford 2-5. Everton missed their chance to go top 4 because that would have put them within that, well, not the title race, but that Champions League position. I mean, they could still be racing for the title. Who knows? You never know, right? But I don't know with that result.
Joshua King got his contract terminated by Everton last year as well.
Oh shit! And he scored a hat trick.
He
right?
scored a hat trick
He
against
hasn't
them.
played in a long time.
So that's a little redemption story right there in your face. Ranieri with his first victory because he lost his debut, right? So that's good for them. Anything on that, guys? Anything you want to mention on that? I'm kind of surprised 5 goals. That's a lot to score.
And
against.
they all came after the 77th minute.
Wow.
It was 2-1 Everton, and they kind of were. It seemed like they were okay with that result. I think they're still missing a fully fit Richarlison. They're definitely missing Calvert-Lewin.
Mm-hmm.
These young guys. Gray, yes, he looks good. Doucouré's out, so they can't do it all themselves. So they're missing those guys up top. So they were content with the 2-1. Once the 77th minute came, it all turned around.
That's crazy.
I think it was like 80 seconds. They scored 2 and got ahead.
Oh shit!
And then they just took over from there.
And they those goals were like carved open as well. Wofford carved open Everton.
They sliced them open.
You know what it is? I think Everton are missing that consistent, that player that would get like a solid 7 out of 10 game every game.
That was Doucouré, but yeah,
like
he's
James
injured.
Rodriguez, So that woke him up. There he is. All right. So Wofford completely caught everybody off guard. Next game we have here is Leeds versus Wolves. The only reason why I listed this game is because the last minutes were just fucking insane for this game. Bielsa ball is. I don't think he's ever gonna win him anything more than a championship. I don't think he'll ever, even if you were to get like a better lineup. I just think it's too open. But oh my god, is it fun to watch?
Even with the couple injuries that they have, they lost Alioski too.
Yeah.
Ayling is still injured. Bamford is out. Rafinha was still
He got hurt that game.
He's still not fully there, but even when he's not fit, he's still fun to watch.
Yeah, but that young kid they have.
As soon as he, what was it, Gelhardt, right? That's his name.
Mhm.
He was electric.
Lefty too, right? I think he looked like he was a lefty.
Yes, I think he was, and he
He
drew the penalty.
Yeah, he drew he had a few chances too. I think he had two chances.
His footwork was pretty good inside the box.
Yeah,
he was fun to watch.
He was impressive. He was fun to again. Leeds are just a fun team to watch in general. But they just can't manage to get a consistent run of games going. It's just a style. In my opinion, it's just a style of play. Bielsa's ball is just too open, but it's just so eye catching to watch. So you can't really get mad as long as they stay in the Premier League. It'll always be fun to keep an eye on them.
There's a chance they may go down because right now I just checked. They're 17.
They're bad, but I think they'll find some consistency.
Yeah, I mean, they have enough for quality players. Like Bamford is still out,
Yeah.
so I mean, Rafinha and Bamford should be able to get them over the line.
Exactly. So I think they'll bounce back. It's still early. I think Klopp might have said it or something like that earlier, before, or a couple years ago, that maybe in the first 9 games you won't win the league, but you can definitely lose the league. So teams like Leeds, they've lost the league already, but they can still stay within the league. So I think they're a team that belong in the mid-table area, and yeah, we'll see what happens with them. But the next game we have here is Brighton 1, Man City 5, and Nico's favorite player at the moment, Phil Foden, with the brace and an assist. Talk to me about your boy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, no comments needed. Great player, generational, best of all time. But honestly, like with Foden, I just feel like he may be like the most like talented English player after Rooney.
Ooh.
Just because he's so like overall like technical, he's so overall built and complete. Like the game when he played for England against Andorra, yes, it's Andorra. I'll probably mention that a lot on podcasts. Like, yes, it's this team, but like he played in a deeper role position. He's just being a quarterback, so he can play any position in the game. So he's a great player. But with City, especially like I was watching this game, it just feels, and I mentioned to you, Eric, before about De Bruyne, it just feels like they probably play a lot more neat without De Bruyne, just because I mentioned it before, like De Bruyne is a lot more in transition player. He's a lot on the right space, needs space in front of him to go pick out a pass or a cross to the back post or whatever. So with Bernardo Silva and Gundogan, they're able to like play these intricate passes and maybe go inside the box or stay out. So with De Bruyne, it's just I just like to see when he does come back, because when he is fit, he'll definitely play just because Pep loves him. Mm-hmm. So when he does come back into the 11, I just want to see how they play.
Did you see the interview that Pep gave with Sky about Phil Foden? How a couple years ago when he was like still like he's still a little kid now, but like when he was even younger, people would ask why he's not playing because he was so talented. And he thinks no, little by little. You play him in this game, you play him in that game. And
I love the way he introduced him.
Yeah, and now in his most recent interview, he was saying now Phil Foden, like for example, he's reached a level of his game where if I don't play him in the Premier League, but I play him in the Carabao Cup, he's gonna knock on my door and say, "What did I do wrong?" Like that's the level he's at now, and that's what I expected from him. So it's like Pep created this monster. He helped lead him and develop this phenomenal player. So that's a credit to Pep and his genius.
Those are two players. He did it with Bernardo Silva, and now he's doing it with Foden.
And he did it with Messi.
Yeah.
Bernardo Silva, what a player as well, man.
Yeah.
He is so good. He's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. And there was a moment, I believe, in this past transfer window where he was asking for a move because
he was ready to go.
Yeah, he was.
Because he was out of favor. Like, well, he played decent. He played good last season, but he was definitely like, you could see him like out of favor a little bit as terms of like his 2018-2019 season where he played like every minute.
So is KDB hurt right now?
I don't know. To be honest, I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure he was, and he's still coming back from injury now, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you think he comes right back into the team?
No. I think he'll be on and off this season.
Okay. Oh, on and off this season. All right, so the XG Kings of last season, which were Brighton, they were always almost getting the goal that you can never find a back of the net. They're still in 5th place, so they're still, challenging for those Champions League spots. So good for them.
Yeah, and Sanchez still had some pretty good saves too.
Yeah, we're talking about him.
He's been holding it up in the back, so it could have been a lot uglier than it was, but he had a good 4 or 5 saves.
So
credit to him.
Yeah, say the 5-0.
But I mean, it is City at the end of the day, so I mean, you kind of expected that a result similar to this.
Yeah.
Yo, this is like mad off topic, but if you guys weren't able to like support a top 6 team, like what team would you support?
What team?
Because since we talk about Brighton, I'd probably support Brighton.
No, I would probably support a team like
West Ham.
Damn, that's a good question, bro. I don't know. What would you guys?
Based on the past
I think it was
couple
at
of
Leeds.
games, I'd say Leeds.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
Leeds,
I'd say Leeds just because the way. I mean, it would be a
Yeah.
frustrating team to watch
Yeah,
because you don't know what's gonna happen. But that's
It's
the beauty
fun.
of it.
yeah.
I would say West Ham.
West
You know,
Ham
they made a statement last season. They're doing pretty good.
top 16. I mean, not. I mean, I'm kind of stuck between like Aston Villa, just because a lot. I feel like they do. I don't.
See, I think you asked me last season. I would say Aston Villa. I don't think I would say
Yeah,
Aston Villa
not
this
anymore.
year.
Not anymore.
There's so many like under like not under the radar, but there's just like so many decent like mid table. I mean, you got Villa, West Ham, Brighton,
I'm looking at Brighton. I'm
Wolves.
thinking about
Wolves-
Brighton right now.
Everton.
Wolves are funny. Wolves are funny.
Wolves. Like
They're
there's just so
forming
many
up.
like just fun teams to watch.
I'm gonna say Brighton, honestly, man. They just seem to be like overall a very solid team. So
I'd rip my hair out though watching them.
yeah,
I'd rip my hair out just
Yeah.
watching that every chance just not get converted.
and that's what I'm saying. They were the XG Kings of last year, but there's new XG Kings this year, guys. And do you know who that is? That's Brentford FC. Another game where XG had them winning this game. Again, XG expected goals. They had them winning this game against Leicester, but Leicester dig it out and win this game 2-1. Did you watch this game? I think you watched this game, right?
I
No.
did. Yes, I did
Oh, you
watch this
didn't?
game.
You
This
said it was
was this was the one. It was on at the same time as the West Ham Tottenham game, but honestly, this game I found much more entertaining.
Results sees.
The only, the only thing I have to say, I guess the question I have to you guys, I think Tielemans is only built to score screamers and bangers. I don't think he
I
can
saw his
do
goal.
anything else
Dude,
because that was unreal. He
Dude.
had no business striking that as clean as he did and slotting it where he did.
that's a fair question. You know what? Does Tielemans belong in a bigger team?
I don't think he'd cut it.
You don't
No.
think
I
he
don't-
cut it?
I think
Yeah,
that's
I
his.
don't
I
think-
think
I don't
that's
think he
his.
would.
I agree with you. I
Yeah,
think
you
that's
might
his
not have the
level.
would.
freedom that he has doing what he does at Leicester City.
I'm gonna say, do you think he's talented enough to belong in a bigger team, whether it be in the Premier League, other abroad,
I'd say the pair. I could see him going to like
I would,
Germany,
yeah, I would definitely say he's
so
talented.
like a Bayern?
Dortmund, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I wouldn't see him like at a Liverpool or a Man United or Chelsea or Madrid or Bayern. I don't know. I don't think he'd cut it.
Hmm.
I don't know, but
Let us know what you think, cause I mean, this guy has a locker full of bangers that he scored. So
Wow,
and
that's
he's,
all he
he's
knows
a
how to
great
do.
player.
All he does.
But he's a great player too. Like he starts for Belgium.
Belgium.
Yep, this is their golden era. So
They've been in their golden era for a minute.
yeah, we'll see.
Isn't this is every season though? They start off pretty good, and then once
They're the favorites,
that's
and
Brendan
then
Once-
Rodgers. That's
Well,
Brendan
yeah.
Rodgers.
Once Brendan Rodgers and once Vardy picks up like a hamstring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Vardy's not playing that much this year. He is playing a lot, but
and he
not
got
as
another
much.
knee injury supposedly, so
Poor
he
guy.
got subbed off. Daka's looking good though.
So, but Brentford again, man, unlucky, man. Just not getting the results that they should be getting according to their stats, which is what happened to Brighton last season, and again happening to them again this season. But Brentford, are they gonna get relegated this year?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I
What
think
place are they in right now?
Their luck is about to turn soon, I would think.
what?
Well, yeah, what place are they in right now? I'm
I'll tell you right
curious.
now, Brentford are in 12th place,
Oh, okay.
12 points, 2 points behind Arsenal.
Oh, okay. Better than I thought.
3-3-3.
All right, so the next game that God didn't watch, and neither did I, because I was only sleeping through this game because I wasn't gonna wake up for this bullshit. But I'm happy to see how it turned out, even though as an Arsenal fan, it might have benefited us more a draw. But I'm always in favor of watching Spurs or Tottenham lose. In this case, that is exactly what happened, and 1-0 West Ham way. Antonio on the score sheet yet again.
Beast.
You know-
Spurs rested their players for the Europa Conference League. They lost. Specifically for this game this weekend, they lost. I got a cough. Give me a second. Excuse me. First question to you is, how much time do you give? Is it Nuno or is it the players?
Go Gap. Go on. Go
I don't know.
Gap.
I think probably a little bit of both. Probably more so on the players, especially when you look at the goal. The way
That's what's gonna
the
go to
way
next.
Antonio scored it, who was marking him?
Kane,
Okay.
And what did Kane do?
nothing. So you actually led me right to where I was gonna go to next because I was this is a Tottenham podcast today. I know.
You listen to a lot of like rival.
I'm trying to get
respect that,
different
though.
perspectives. I want to throw up listening to it. Trust me, don't get me wrong, because they obviously bash on Arsenal, but I'm like, oh god, let me get through it. But what they were saying is last season, I believe Kane actually led the statistics for like defensive clearances, like header wise. So he was putting in the effort. He was throwing his body in the line. This season, I mean, you saw the goal. He literally.
He didn't do anything.
He didn't do
just
anything.
Stood behind Antonio, maybe held him, but he didn't even jump. He didn't try to contest. He didn't try to get around him.
Yep.
All Antonio had to do was just stick his foot out, and he got it.
So just look at the comparison from last season, the guy who's leading the stats for putting in the effort defensively, throwing his body in the line, to this year, to not even attempting to salvage a point at this point, just letting Antonio get the goal. So,
You know, I just clock with Kane is I just feel like he's more of like he just thrives off of his environment. I'm not even talking about like his potential move to City in this summer. I just feel like whether it's the coach or the players around him and the setup, like we saw last season, halfway through the season, we kind of saw like pressure on Mourinho. And that's when Kane kind of started dropping off because in the beginning, like we chose Spurs or whatever, but everyone was saying about like, oh, Spurs winning the title. Remember that? And in the beginning of last season when they won like 6-2 against Southampton.
Yeah.
And Kane and someone on fire, and you just saw like every like 3 game weeks, form just starts dipping, and then Mourinho starts like the pressure goes on him, and they just start not playing as well. So I just feel like that's the thing with Kane.
So we'll see if this is the case. We'll see if Kane is really just waiting to get the hell out of that club. But let's get into the next game because I think this is gonna line us up for this weekend's El Sacchio to see who gets the boot first. Sorry, guy. I know you know where we're going with this. Here we go.
Need a
This is
towel.
the moment that he's been waiting for because
Oh yeah.
I
So
mean
much.
we've been talking a lot about United, the text and everything. So now I'm really interested to see how and why it is that you feel the way that you feel about your manager, which everybody has their right to feel whichever way they do. But I'm gonna just talk about the game. My question to you first, and of course we're talking about the United Liverpool game. I know Nick is excited about this just as much as I am. He's holding it in. Before he was like, "Oh yeah, Gat's coming." Ooh. After seeing Ollie stick into the players and the system that got him into trouble every single time beforehand, McFred, is it not showing signs that he is completely out of ideas? And if so, why don't you want somebody else in charge? I'll give you a minute to think about that. I gotta cough a lot, so give me just 2 seconds. So, quick commercial break. I gotta get some water because my throat is killing me right now. Be right back. And I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to get some water. I was I didn't want to start coughing up a lung on the podcast and on the video. So, Gat, back to you. Should I ask the question again, or do you know what it is already? I'll ask it again.
No, you can ask it again.
If you missed it, my question to Gat is, and to any United fan out there, let me know in the comments below if you're Ollie in, Ollie out. And if you're Ollie in, I guess my question is more directed towards you. After seeing Ollie stick into the players and the system, they got him in trouble every single time so far, quote unquote, McFred. Is it not showing signs that he is out of ideas? And if you are Ollie in, why are you still Ollie in? Is my question, I guess, at the end of the day. So listen, take all the time you need. I know it's I'm pretty much asking you to kind of call your manager out, and you don't have to, of course. But yeah, what are your thoughts on?
You have to.
That's the ultimatum. So no, I think Ollie does not have, or he doesn't have what it takes to bring us to that next level. I think Diego actually said it pretty well a couple days ago. We're at 90%. He came in. We've seen what he was able to do. He got us to 6th, 3rd, 2nd. So there's some progress there, but we're at 90%. He doesn't have what it takes to get us that extra 10%.
Okay.
And in regards to McFred, I mean, honestly, the only thing I can see, which Diego also mentioned as well, he picked them because he thought that they had the best energy levels and, they would be able to keep up with a Liverpool side that are just flying. They're nuts. And it's frustrating, I know.
Yeah, because if you look at the goals that Liverpool scored, they ran past McTominay and Fred. McTominay and Fred are arguably one of the worst trackers I've seen. Like, they just do not track the runners at all. And I think those were the first 2 or 3 goals, if I'm not mistaken, where they just completely ran by themselves.
Yeah, they had a hand in it, but just overall, especially during the game, the defense was just in shambles.
So I'm pulling up this action right now because I sent it to Nick earlier. I'm like, I have to say this for later because this is something that you wouldn't expect a team who was, again, second place last year, a team who should be challenging for the title this year, who should be making a run, at least get into the final stages of the Champions League. You shouldn't be hearing these stats, what I'm about to say right now. It sounds like it's really bad, right? It's not breaking news. It's out there everywhere. Everybody's seen it, but I mean, we got to say it. Goals conceded, 15. That means they're 16th in the Premier League. Clean sheets, 1. They're 18th in the Premier League. Shots on target faced, 14th in the Premier League with 43 shots. Tackles, 104 with 20. That's the last in the Premier League. They're not challenging the players. They're not going in for tackles. And here's the big one. Errors leading to shots. 8. 20th in the league.
That's like all Premier League games, all 9 of them.
They're in last place. They're causing their own demise right now. And for a team who has only gotten stronger, they got a World Cup, Champions League winning, again, a defender who's literally won everything. And Ronaldo and Sancho, to not be able to find that extra 10% is just crazy. But again, you said it. Maybe he's not the guy to do it. Who do you bring in? People are saying Conte, but does he fit that system?
A lot of people are saying Conte or Zidane.
I think Zidane's the guy.
But the problem I have is, for the record, I am still very much Ollie in. I
respect that.
I think Zidane or Conte, that's more of a short-term fix. And when you have the squad that we have, we can't turn into that kind of a club where we're gonna sack Ollie now or after the international break, which is, there's a lot of hype about that. But then what? You bring Conte in. Then what? Sure, maybe he does something magical. We improve. But then what? The second that he doesn't get what he wants from the board, he's gonna leave. Mm-hmm. And then what? We're scrambling with an interim manager, whoever that ends up being, and then we're going to be on the hunt for another manager who's probably not going to be available by then.
Yeah.
So we got to stick with Ollie for now.
Or
you got to use this time to find someone for the long term.
Or you bring back Sir Alex Ferguson.
That is a rumor, isn't it?
I've heard that.
That is a rumor.
I've heard that.
He won't.
Apparently, he still has an office at the club. Like at the training ground, like he still has an office there. I'm not sure how true that is, but that's
wouldn't surprise me.
That wouldn't surprise me either. I mean, he is.
But he won't. He won't.
But all right, so that's how I wanted to kind of kick off this game. 5-0 rout at home against your biggest rivals. Nick, I'll tell you my experience about this smug.
Oh yeah, dude, you have to.
I'll tell you right now. I was probably worse than he was.
No way.
Bro, my man celebrated with Edgar almost every single goal. Not only that, they jumped up at the same time on one, and they scared the little
I didn't jump up.
He had to go, oh, I scared you.
I didn't jump up. He jumped up. Because at that point, the game was already over. I'm like, fuck it, okay.
Yeah.
But no, I was honestly just as bad as him. And look, I hate United, but now I really hate United because Ronaldo's there. And 2, I thought you guys were a solid top 4 team this season. Now that I see that that's not the case, I'm rooting for every loss I can get because that only allows Arsenal to get closer. So I was completely on board for that route. I'm sorry, dude. It's nothing personal, but it benefits us. And I was yelling for that red card for Ronaldo, bro. I was like, oh, fuck. fuck you. I was like cursing him
You
out.
typed it into the chat. I'm like,
Yeah, bro. I was sick, bro. Yo, give him that red card. Remember even Hazard, that incident, but he did kick the ball. But whatever. So, yeah, I watched this game with a smug. I know I was going behind enemy lines. I said I wouldn't do that, but I had to do it for this game. How did you enjoy this game? How was your experience? And then we'll get into your experience right after.
yeah, man. So obviously on the last podcast, I predicted a Liverpool loss. So,
I said a route.
oh, you did.
I said a route.
You did. That's good. I think you said 4-0.
I think I did say 4
I think you said 4-0, but going in, I mean, like, I just love how Liverpool just pressed out the gates immediately, especially with the likes of Keita, Henderson, and Firmino. They were just able to close down every single like pocket. And although like we're speaking about like kind of the beginning of the game, when for Salah's hat trick, you saw Firmino and Henderson just swarming Pogba. One little nick off the ball from Firmino.
What a ball!
And yeah, I mean, there's like the tweets if that's De Bruyne or someone else, it'd be all over the news. But
the handball.
yeah,
What a ball!
That's three
What
fingers.
a ball!
but that's only with just one example of like just pressure on one player throughout the whole game. I mean, you saw pressure on Fred, McFred or whatever, Bruno, and it was just the first 30 minutes was just like some of the best like sustained pressure I've like ever seen.
Mhm.
And it's against your biggest rival ever
At their home.
at their home. So what I kind of expected is gonna go there. I kind of expected United to sit back. And at times with Liverpool, when they go away to like big stadiums, especially Old Trafford, which they did win last season, but no fans tax. But I mean,
that's not a tax. That's not a tax. Having no fans in the stadium completely changes the game around. Not like United don't get second place last season if there's fans in the stadium, and if you guys aren't hindered.
yeah, I agree, but
And then I think you still get top four, but fans changes the game completely, bro.
and the referee as well. But
Everything, bro. So that's not a tax. I think that's legit.
on what?
Not having fans in the stadium, it changes the game completely.
Yeah, no,
100%.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, it was just a crazy game. There's no really like tactical like stuff. It's just a crazy game, especially from my viewing. It's just I've never seen Liverpool, like I just mentioned, they have like a pretty poor record away at Old Trafford. Went there and completely dominated. And although I feel like United didn't play, all right, it's obviously a 5-0 loss, but there were like some moments where one little key decision better, or an option better.
Bruno.
If Bruno hits that to Alisson's right, that may have
That
gone
first
in.
goal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He tried to go like top right
And
corner
they
and
go
whatnot.
1-0 in the beginning of
And that was like the third minute.
Yep.
Yeah, he couldn't wrap his foot around the ball
Mhm.
good enough. And yeah, I mean,
Give him
if
margins.
that goes in, that changes the game.
Mm-hmm.
And like we mentioned, like there's a lot of pressure on Ole, and obviously there is pressure on Ole because I mean he's a United manager and United haven't played well. But I just feel like for this game it was more on the players, just because I just felt like the players just let him down in terms of being able to find that key pass or being able to take that shot or to take that dribble on. So
Or to stick to your position and not let your front three just run wild behind them.
or that, but
Yeah, Maguire, dude. Maguire is
and you know
he's
how
in
we
bad
mentioned
form.
like
bad form.
some players like have a switch, like you turn the light off. I mean, last season Maguire and Luke Shaw were like really
They
good.
had it.
They were like really good, and now this season, just you turn the switch back off, like how the lights are right here,
Yeah, dude.
and it's just like they've been pretty poor. I mean, I think it was, I don't know if it was Salah's goal or Jota's goal when they kind of collided into each other,
Yeah.
and the
That
ball
was,
goes out
the
wide.
second goal.
That is one of the funniest.
It might have been the
shits
second goal,
ever.
but
It was the
it was
second
just
goal.
Called it
It was-
out. I thought it was hilarious.
It was the
Yeah.
second goal. That
It was the
was
second
Salah's goal, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was the second one.
so you saw Luke Shaw, Maguire, like just. You remember when Ndombele scored last season when Spurs won 6-1
Mhm.
and Luke Shaw Maguire did the same exact thing. That's the same exact thing that he just did this game.
History repeats itself, man, in weird ways. So yeah, they switched off the lights, but were you? I mean, after what goal did you think? Oh shit, this is gonna become a rout.
The fourth one.
Yeah, the fourth one.
The first one, that's
At 2-0, I was still
that's
nervous.
halftime. I mean, halftime 4-0, bro.
At 2-0, I was still nervous just because it's
That
United.
was a dangerous scoreline.
I'm over here like
Very
oh my God,
dangerous
oh my God,
scoreline.
oh my
But
God.
4-0 going into the halftime, how did you like? What was going through your mind? Like, I know you're upset. I know you're pissed off, but like, what's
The only thing going through my mind at halftime is we have to play better in the second half. I don't care what happens, as long as we played better. As long as we showed something. And honestly, in my opinion, because that didn't really happen, I think the second half was worse than the first one because they didn't show that they wanted to get back into the game. They didn't show that their head was in it. That they just kind of gave up. They let their frustration get the better of them. We saw what happened with Pogba. So
Big-
they didn't react like they should have, and so
So let's go there real quick. Pogba, red card, 10, 15 minutes after
15,
walking into the
15
game?
minutes in.
Dude, that was. There's
bad.
no way
It
he
was
did.
bad.
He knew he was getting a red card for that.
Yeah, and you can kind of also say because it happened from a corner, so they played it short, and then Bruno tried to pass it back to him, and Bruno did kind of pass it too far ahead of him, so Pogba had to actually run to it and catch up. Still doesn't excuse that Pogba shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, 2-footed tackle, like in front of the.
He came out frustrated.
Yeah, he smiled on his way out.
Yeah, because he knew
People
that
saw
one,
that.
he fucked up.
He knew what he did.
Two, yeah, he knew exactly what he did.
So was that him trying to get Ollie out? Is that him trying to like just sabotage?
I want to say that
No.
that's like him sending a message, but I do want to say that that's a frustration of him not starting the game.
I mean,
Yeah.
Pogba benched, Sancho benched, a marquee signing. Van de Beek has less minutes played than goals scored on them at home. That's insane to me.
That's a
He has
crazy
less
stat.
than 5 minutes played this season on the bench, and you stick with the players that you stick with. I mean, look, I don't want to trash Ollie and all, but I mean, let's trash Ollie for a bit because this is costing you guys what could have been a title challenging season. Do you still think United are in the race?
At this moment, no. They need to turn things around fast. I mean, and you also got to remember, this is only match week 9. There's 29 more to go.
Correct. And as I said before, you don't win the league in the first 9 games, but you lose the league in the first 9 games because of the talent that we have seen consecutively in the last, I say 3 to 4 seasons, where Chelsea, maybe not Chelsea for the past amount of years, but definitely Man City and Liverpool, and then everybody else. That gap has been consistent for the past couple of years, except for last year. Again, no fans. I don't count last season at all. That's bullshit to me. But if you see it so consistent, like I generally think that the race is now in between 3 teams, and that's it. I think everybody else now is just battling for top 4. I asked you before you came on the podcast, who's going to be your best 11. So that's my question to you. Who's your best 11? How does Ollie change this United team around?
With formation.
Right. That's what it all depends.
of course.
If Ollie chooses not to try something new and sticks with his 4-2-3-1, it's got to be your usual back 4. Once Varane comes back, it's got to be Bissaka, Varane, Maguire, and honestly, I would take out Shaw. Put in Tellez. We need something different.
Yeah, he has been
And
switched off.
Shaw hasn't been doing it.
Yeah.
Last season he was great defensively. He was an even better attacking threat. He did have one good shot this game, but that's the only good thing I can say for him in that game.
Yeah.
So you put Tellez on. The 2 in front, I would say Pogba, Matic. And then in front, Bruno, of course, Sancho on the right, and probably Rashford on the left. Rashford's still coming back from injury, so he's still trying to work his way back to fitness. And then of course Ronaldo up top.
That is a very. I mean,
That's assuming Ollie doesn't try something new.
I'd like to see that Pogba and I think we've seen it before, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Not too much, but
The Ronaldo thing, that's a hot topic for United right now because a lot of people are saying that ecstatic to come that he's back to United and everything, but as much as he's a blessing to you guys, or I guess you could say, he's also do you believe that he's also hampering you guys in a way?
perhaps a little. I mean, it's Ronaldo. He's got one of the biggest egos ever.
And I hear that a lot.
And I know we spoke off the air about this. I've never liked Ronaldo for that reason.
Damn. I thought something fell. That was thunder.
That's thunder coming in.
Holy shit.
So I never liked Ronaldo for that reason because he has a massive ego.
Might have.
So I think he's very much that kind of player where he kind of expects the ball all the time. And yes, it works, but it can be a little hampering right now. I mean, honestly, I don't mind benching him right now.
I think
Either bench him or put Cavani up there with him.
How do you guys feel about Mason Greenwood being the lone striker and taking Ronaldo out?
I think he'd be great.
He'd probably do really. I mean, that's what we're working towards anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that is
However-
the future.
However, it's also hard to see him there because he's actually doing well on the right.
And
You said it yourself I think you said it last week on the pod. Bro, he's a shot monster.
He's a shot monster, dude.
This-
Both footed. I think he's phenomenal.
I think that's getting worse though because Ronaldo's here. Because
he wants to prove his point.
He's being selfish.
Yeah.
I mean, he got a really good shot off during the game, and when you look back at it, he probably could have tried to loop that into Ronaldo, who was back post.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not mad that he took the shot.
Yeah,
Go for it.
but-
Take
Talking
the
about
shot.
Greenwood?
Yeah.
Greenwood. You've made those before.
Yeah.
You're gonna keep making those.
It's
But when you look
decision-making.
when you look back on it, could it have been a better decision to
Yeah.
just loop it to the back post where Ronaldo's there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be probably an endless debate. Probably a debate that splits the fans, the viewers, everything. Because again, as much as Ronaldo gives you on the pitch, what he's not gonna give you is a defensive effort that Mason Greenwood probably would give. I think he has something to say on this game as well.
I was gonna say about mentioning about Pogba, I think he needs to go. I think United just needs to cut ties with him, just because every time he's on the pitch, whether he's the reason why he plays out on the left is just because he can't play in a pivot, and the reason why he can't play in a pivot because he's horrid in transition on the defensive end. I mean, that's the only reason why Ole tries to accommodate him on the left, and when he does play in a pivot, he's horrid. So it's just. Although he did drop 4 assists against Newcastle, it's not sustainable. It's just United just need to cut ties with him. It just hasn't worked out.
That's the thing with Pogba. Like when he's on it,
When
he's
he's
on
on,
it.
he's on.
But when he's off, you can't accommodate a team when he's off because what's he gonna do for you? Get you a red card in the first 15 minutes. He's on the pitch. So, I mean, this is if I'm not mistaken, the biggest loss against Liverpool at home. 4-0 going into the half, 5-0 at the end of the game. I mean, Mo Salah has proven
He's the best player in the world right now.
they're
Without a doubt.
undisputed.
No way. He's
Undisputed.
Not. He is.
That last goal he got, bro. I
That was.
thought I was like, oh, he fucked up.
It was a great ball from Henderson. It was an even better finish.
Oh, dude,
that was tres dedos, wasn't it?
the handle pass was,
Handle, yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
the Salah one was
No,
too,
they had the
actually.
goal.
Like, doop.
He flipped it over to his
Yeah,
right.
dude, I thought he fucked up.
Yeah, he had to
He
drag
took
him
like a
behind.
little
No
heavy
one-
touch.
He took a
No
heavy
one-
touch.
No one saves that.
And I feel bad for De Gea because he started off in such good form.
But he especially on that play, he did everything right. He
Yeah,
closed
bro.
down the angle.
Dude.
Maybe he could have stayed back a little bit, would have given him a better chance, but he did everything right. There's just no one saving that.
I don't put any of those goals on him. It was
No, it's Sean McGuire.
pretty much, man, pretty much. But that's all I gotta say on the United Liverpool front. Any final thoughts that you have for this rivalry, for this amazing historical game that we experienced?
Just
Not
credit-
amazing for you, but
Credit, I mean, just all credit to Liverpool. They took advantage, and they looked really good. So
Should be fun again at Anfield. Well, not for Liverpool, just because
hopefully
wonder-
it'll be a good return game.
I wonder if Ronaldo's gonna find that extra little something because of this past game. I mean, was that a red card?
The Ronaldo thing.
The incident where he kicked Curtis Jones.
I wouldn't have been mad.
That was an orange card.
I wouldn't have been mad if it was because that's just
That was pure frustration.
that's Ronaldo.
It's based on interpretation of the. I mean, for us, it looked like it was bad until Edgar said no, he kicked the ball.
He
But
did.
it's still-
He did kick the
it's-
ball,
he
but
did.
he was down.
Yeah, he was.
I mean,
down.
I think
And
one
he
in
kicked
that
it.
one.
He kicked it into his groin. I think.
I think in
Yeah.
that one, you're okay with whatever the ref
Right,
says.
exactly.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
yeah.
That's why I wouldn't have been mad.
Yeah, I want to ask Marco this question. So, Marco, since you're a Real Madrid fan, so what are your thoughts on this whole Ronaldo transition into United and how the way he plays, maybe the way he affects the team, in the good way or in a bad way, and also what do you think of Zidane, or what do you think about Ole and all that? What do you think about Ronaldo and his transition into Man United, and how he affects the team in a good or bad way? And what do you think if Zidane were to come in?
I mean, I think the best thing for Ronaldo would be for Zidane to come in, because Zidane has an understanding. Now, I also think Zidane knows that at this point Ronaldo can no longer play on the left, which he's no longer. He's playing as a striker, which is perfectly fine. But I think, and I hope we don't see this for at least till the transfer window in January, Zidane coming in, because I think that is the better route for Man United than Conte. We've seen what Man United is with a defensive coach, Mourinho, and we know how bad it is. We know that Conte also has a really bad attitude, and that's not what they want, or that's what they're used to. Zidane is, in a sense, has the kind of the attitude that Ole has. It's kind of like laid backish, and that's what they're used to. That's what they want. So I think Zidane is a better fit for them. Attacking wise, I think he will figure out a way to work with what they have now. Defensively, Zidane has always struggled, even with Real Madrid.
They're very top heavy United.
Yeah,
very top heavy.
Yeah,
Real Madrid had it too.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
But they had Ramos, but they're always hurt though.
Yeah, they were. I mean, no. Varane, yes. But we remember there was a time within Zidane that Real Madrid had A and B, and they both dominated.
Yeah.
Squad A and B squad, and they both dominated. So I feel that Zidane would be able to do right for Man United. I just don't want it to be yet or big now.
What were your thoughts on Zidane in Madrid? Because I never like really.
I loved him. I know that. I mean, Jeffe hated having Zidane.
I don't know why.
And Jeffe hated having Zidane, and he credited everything to Ronaldo, which by all means, like, please, Ronaldo did. The top three will always be like known for the success because of them and the full squad and the success that Real Madrid had for those 3 years. But I love Zizou. I love the way he came in. I love the way that he left, because he knew that his legacy was going to be tarnished if he stayed for another season. The first time he left, he knew Ronaldo's leaving. This is going to be chaos. Let me step away. Let me step away as well. And it was chaotic. And then he came back a year and a half, 9 months later to pick up the pace, and then came back and won league. And then he left the following year because he knew that Real Madrid no longer was going to give him what he wanted, which is perfectly fine. And he cemented a legacy that nobody will take away, or nobody will be able to replicate in the next couple of years. Who's going to come and say, "Oh, I'm going to win 3 Champions League back to back to back"? It's the same team. Nobody. So I will never say Zidane was a bad coach. I will forever say he's a legendary coach that won with Real Madrid in 3 different facets of his life. Now,
do you think Zidane was the only manager to do that back to back to back, or do you think any other manager could have done that? Maybe not any other manager, maybe like Ancelotti at the time, or a Klopp, or a Pep.
No. I think I think it has to do a lot with the coaching and how you connect with the players, and I think that and how you control also the rest of the team, right? Not just the players, but the board and the presidents and all that other bullshit. I think he fit within all of it, and that's how he was able to have so much success. I would have said a couple of years ago that Pep would have been another one to do it, but if he stuck in Barcelona. But anywhere else, I don't think. And I think it kind of also falls in that it was the perfect time. It was at the perfect place at the perfect time, at the perfect moment of 3 individual but together great players that were in their prime. So it kind of fell on his lap, and he said, "This is the time, and we have to do it," and it worked out.
I think that's what you said right at the end is very, very, very point that just stand out is perfect time. Everything, it was a puzzle that kind of fit together. We always wanted to the what if that. And I was thinking the other day, I'm like, what if Liverpool never lost Van Dijk? Well, what if he never lost Van? They never lost Van Dijk. Could they have been the back to back team? So it kind of, to your point, there will never be another Pep treble winning Barcelona again like that. I don't think so.
No, well, remember that Luis Enrique did it.
That's right, yeah, Luis Enrique, yeah. They had Messi, so I don't think it's ever gonna happen again. Unless the Champions League, Real Madrid, it'll never happen again. That was the Liverpool dominant season. It will never happen again because that was all a perfect puzzle. Yeah, it doesn't matter who you throw in there. It's just gonna knock it off. It just all has to mesh perfectly together to be so in sync like that.
And the 3 years that they won it back to back to back, they had almost the same squad. Very little switches were done throughout the squad.
So now we're kind of going off
topic.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
So, but this is so. Who do you think during that little period? Who do you think was the top 3 most important players?
What, in Real Madrid?
For Real Madrid in that era, like the back to back to back.
Oh man, it's hard because I mean, you can credit the top three with Bale, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Benzema, but without Modric, it wouldn't have been where they are.
Your
Without
top three most
Casemiro,
important.
Most
Casemiro,
important?
Kroos, it's hard. Ramos, like
But the most
everybody,
important, there has
more
to be-
important.
I take Benzema, Ronaldo. And
I was
Ramos.
gonna say Ramos, Benzema, and Ronaldo. The way that Benzema served Ronaldo,
They worked.
it's unpaired. And Modric he's still perfectly fine, but
Yeah,
at the
right?
time he was on his prime, and he was one of the best, if not the best, midfielder at the time. So yeah, I think if I would put those three that Eric mentioned, and then right behind them, Modric,
So I mean, it's a perfect segue to get into the big matches across Europe.
because how depressing it is.
Barcelona. Huh?
How depressing it is.
I mean, Barcelona losing to Real Madrid 2-1. It's. I mean, that's 4 wins back to back for Real Madrid against their arch rivals.
Yeah.
How do you feel? When you saw? Did you see what happened to Koeman after the game? I'm guessing.
No.
When he left
okay.
Camp Nou.
So just to kind of give you some insight, there was the fans harassed him.
There was like a couple hundred outside the stadium.
Yeah, they spit in his car. They were I believe vandalizing his car, if I'm not mistaken.
Up to an extent, yeah.
And these are the fans that are going against Koeman at this point.
And it's not his fault.
It's not. Yeah, that's what I want to go to. Like, why are they going at Koeman?
Because they can't get at anybody else
But
but him. That's
you're
the unfortunate
vandalizing
part.
a guy who's trying to bring. Look,
They
and
want
we'll
to
ridicule him.
point fingers at someone, and he's
They
just
have-
kind of
yeah.
in the line of fire.
It's
right
unfortunate because he is the face of, like, he's in between, like what I was saying, like Zidane was able to like fit in within everybody in the team. He is that person as well. He is the one in between the players and the board of directors and the president. He is the face. So when they attack him, it's like they're attacking the team. They're attacking the institute itself, and he can't walk away from that. That's unfortunate. It sucks. It sucks for him because nobody likes to see that. I mean, it's entertaining, but at the same time, you do kind of feel bad for him.
I feel like you look. United had fans walking out.
Yes.
Credit to them. From what I understand, 80% of the stadium was still full, and they were still chanting and supporting the team. So credit to them for still sticking around and doing that. A lot of fans won't do that.
And they're still all in.
And they're still all in. You won't see these fans vandalizing. I don't think you'll ever see them actually vandalize somebody in person. Maybe they'll vandalize their homes like they did. Liverpool did the Benitez and shit. But I don't think they'll actually vandalize them as they're leaving the stadium.
I think it's accumulation of frustration, and it's unfortunate that Koeman is the one that's getting it. But I don't think it's directed to him. I think it's directed to everybody. It's just that he's the one that gets getting it.
Has it gotten so bad that like I'm kind of over enjoying it and just kind of feeling bad for him at this point?
I'm feeling bad for him.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm definitely feeling bad for
Right?
Barcelona.
Like,
A little bit.
I was enjoying it,
to
but now
the
I was like, oh,
extent
damn, dude.
that like, just to talk about the game, they have a right back as a right wing. That a kid that doesn't know how to like
So funny.
really play this, like even a striker role. Come on, man. Like Dest is not built or doesn't have the training to do that. He's trained to be defensive,
That's why he
run up,
That's why he missed the
pass.
sitter.
Mr. Sitter.
He missed a sitter, but he then throughout the game, I think the first goal came. He gave the assist to the goal. If I'm not mistaken, I'm like that's what he's built to do. That's what he's trained to do. He's not trained to be a striker. Why are you putting him as a striker? The game that they had, they put Piqué as a striker. I mean, he was the one.
Was that the one Piqué scored in?
Yeah, I think that was the one that they finally. I
So
think
it
they got
worked.
a tie.
It worked.
They got a
It
tie.
worked.
I think they got a tie or they won. I can't remember exactly. But I'm like, to what extent? Like, how bad is this team that you have to resort to get your defense up?
The thing is that
Which is weird for me to say because I've always said that I would like to see Marcelo up top.
but Marcelo, he's more of a winger than an actual defender. But
Yeah.
it's the thing with Barcelona right now is even if they wanted to get out of this mess, they can't.
You know what's
They
funny?
have no money.
You know what's funny? They're promoting their new stadium.
Wait, what do you mean?
They're promoting how their new stadium.
Wait, they're building a stadium?
Yeah, they're renovating their stadium.
That's why they're in so much debt.
Yeah,
The
have you not seen
salaries,
it,
the
bro? It's
transfers,
funny as
the
hell.
stadium.
Barca's so funny. They're just vibes, bro. They're
Dude,
just
they-
bad vibes.
Nah,
bro.
man, they just bad appointments.
Like,
The past presidents, two of them corrupt. One of them actually got locked up.
you know it's bad when you see like Luke De Jong warming up for for a fucking El Clasico, bro.
Dude, De Jong is apparently gonna leave to Man City.
What the hell?
There's
Really?
reports already. Man City or Bayern Munich are gonna try to sum him up this window because Barca need the money. They have to find something out of it. Oh man, I was enjoying it. Now I'm feeling a little bit.
I think
bad.
the
Bro,
reason. Go on.
I was gonna say, bro, they bought Griezmann for 145, and they left them go for like 60.
And he's,
They're not exactly the same amount, but that's like kind of
Suarez
like
are
the
on
gap
fire right
that they're
now.
having.
Nah, man, that's true. But nah, let's get into the games of the weekend. Again, Real Madrid did win 2-1. Inter versus Juve ended 1-1. I believe Dybala scored a last minute goal for Juve and tied it up for
Yep.
them. Did you watch the game? Did you watch
I
that
didn't
game?
watch. No, I didn't watch it.
Did anybody watch that game?
I watched the highlights.
I watched the Marseille PSG game. Anything cool about the Juve Inter game?
No, I was talking to Guy. Remember yesterday about Dybala? He was like,
Yeah.
he's been kind of like he's been playing pretty well this season, and just I kind of like to see
Ronaldo's
because
no longer there. That
Yeah,
Someone else
was
gotta do it.
So Dybala, he was linked to leave so many times. Do you guys think he longs to go somewhere else? Like, would he be better at a different team? Like, he's the player that has been hyped up for so long now, and we've seen a lot of good things from him, but he's never really had that breakout season, I guess you could say. Or, I mean, Juventus is a huge institution, but I would want to see him like in a Premier League team or something. Do you think he could fit in the Premier League?
I don't. Not Premier League. I think he could fit like in Spain or in France maybe. I don't see him fitting in Premier League. I feel like he'll end up being injury prone there. He already is. He's not
Yeah.
always fit.
Yeah, that's
So I
true.
think he'll get injured more consistently in the Premier League than if he goes to Spain or to France.
You guys agree with that? Yeah,
I agree with
I mean,
that.
That's a good point.
Like if it doesn't work out this season for Dybala, he should just go somewhere like.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'd cut in the Prem. He kind of reminds me like if he was to be in the Prem, like James Madison, but he's just a little bit more like techie and he's just a lefty. I don't know. He'd be all right. He was close to going to Spurs like a couple years ago.
Yeah,
He was like really close to going
2
to
years
Spurs.
ago, I think it
Yeah.
was. He was very close and he ended up not doing it.
Yeah, but that the game ended 1-1. Juve, I believe, are first place.
Juve are in like 7-6.
Oh, they are?
Place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
Napoli's in
wait.
first place.
Napoli.
Napoli's first
Where's
place.
Inter at?
Inter is like in third or fourth.
Oh,
I'll check now.
Did Mourinho get sent off this past weekend? Or was
Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
he got
he
double
did.
yellow.
He got
He
double
got
yellow.
did.
My
Yeah.
man is making a move for that Newcastle job. So let's see if he gets a sack at Roma. So we're doing Mourinho things, and then the game that I did actually watch, and if you watch our Instagram, I was actually playing tech ball as well with Les Smug. And if you do want to play tech ball in the future, let me know. Was Marseille versus PSG, Le Classique. Did you?
Pretty good. Pretty
It
good.
was actually pretty
Yeah,
good. I'm happy that Saliba looked really dominant in that game. Last minute tackle on Mbappe to save
That was
the
a good
point.
tackle. Yeah, that was a good
so Arsenaloni, Guendouzi looked pretty.
He was
He
pretty
looked
decent.
decent. He looked
decent,
decent.
man. He's always been good.
I like them. He's
a
hothead.
man. Hothead, but Marseille and PSG draw 0-0. Red card early, and I forget what was early on. I forget what
No,
time.
it's kind of like around the 70th,
Right.
60th,
Yeah,
something
I
like that.
forget
For
who it was.
Who?
Hakimi.
Hakimi,
Hakimi.
yeah. Oh man, that's right. It was
Was it a bad one?
Deserved tackle. It wasn't a bad tackle. Like it wasn't like a dirty tackle, but it was a deserved red card. Last man, he did push him from behind, and he ruined. Like he was in on goal. So deserved red card. Hakimi did.
So it's a tactical red card.
Yeah, kind of like Valverde
Valverde
on
did it
Morata at one time.
They had to take him down carefully, but took him down.
He took him down. He knew what he was doing, but nah. In this case, I think he tried being sneaky with it, but it was a deserved red card. But again, Messi still hasn't scored in the league.
I saw this crazy stat. It's like the first time since he was like 16 years old that he hasn't scored in 4 league games.
So I mean, he's scoring in Champions, but he's scoring against a harder competition, but not against. I'm not saying that Marseille is an easy competition, but I'm saying in 4 games in Ligue 1, you'd expect Messi to at least have a couple goals in his locker.
It could be that he's not used to not playing for him. He's used to that. Barcelona has always played for him. Now he's walking into a team that has 2 other stars.
Well,
And who do you choose or who are you going to play for?
he played with Suarez. He played with Neymar.
Yeah,
he
but
played with
we
Xavi,
always
he played
knew
with
that
Iniesta.
Messi was the star, and Messi was the one that was gonna. They played for Messi. Now they're not playing for Messi. Maybe Messi still has to adapt a little
Yeah,
bit to
now
them playing
PSG
against.
have options.
I don't know if I agree with that because if you look at this, if you look at Suarez and Messi and Neymar, they spread out their goals and assists among them pretty evenly. It wasn't like Messi was so like it was all Messi. No, they all had a lot to do with it.
So is it the system for PSG then?
I'm falling in more on Poch.
Is the team too big for Poch? Like Man U is for Ali?
So that wasn't that I thought about where kind of like Oli. He was at Spurs. He got to the Champions League final. You know, he got sacked. He deserves a big move because he got to the final, and he got the big move. And then he got the big move, and now he has all of these stars to manage.
Remember, big move, and it's the first year PSG loses the league. Last year was first year.
So I don't know. Like Matt said on previous episodes, walks like a duck, sounds like a duck. It's probably a duck.
Chicken. Oh.
Wait, were you serious on that, Mark?
No.
Oh.
I knew exactly where he was going with it.
He was serious. No, okay, he wasn't serious.
I mean, PSG are still first.
No, yeah,
They'll win it, but
they'll win it. Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if they don't win it. I mean, I think they're like already way ahead.
They're like 10 points above.
Yeah, by 7.
But I mean, you'd still expect them to be with Messi better than they were.
More dominant.
Yeah, more dominant.
and you know how like everyone mentions like Farmers League and whatever. It's like it's a Farmers League for PSG, but for all the I think is it 20 teams in the league I assume for all the 19 other teams like it's a very like good league. I mean some of the best players in the world right now came from League One like Sadio Mane, Benzema. And Benzema is one of the best players in the world right now. He came from Lyon. So I mean, really some of the best players in the world come from that league. Yeah. So I just feel like too much shade is thrown on that league.
And
like Hazard came from that league.
And some of the most ruthless fans.
That's true.
Which is the better league, competitive wise? Ligue 1? The Bundesliga.
Ligue 1.
Ligue 1. Competitive wise, yeah.
Because I think Ligue 1 is PSG and everybody else. And Bundesliga is Bayern, Dortmund, and everybody else. So I know because they're not even everybody else. Them two, and then another category of 3, and then everybody else.
I mean, which is the more competitive league then?
I think it's still Ligue 1 because the 19 still compete against each other. The other has like little like brackets.
Dortmund hasn't even won the league over Bayern, in years. Monaco
one chance and they screwed up.
Monaco and Lille have won the league over PSG.
Bernardo Silva, Fabinho.
That team was crazy, bro.
Monaco won and
Falcao, Thomas Lemar, Benjamin Mendy.
Oh, he's in prison FC now though. So.
Yeah, but dude, what a team!
That team was stacked, man. But all right, we went off the rails a little bit. I think this episode has gone long enough. I think Gat has to get home before this torrential storm starts coming down on us. So, Gat, thank you so much for joining. We hope to have you on more often than not.
Glad to be here. Thank you, guys.
So, before we get in, I don't want to, commit you to anything, but would you be available on Thursday?
You let me know.
Would you be available on Thursday?
I'll be here.
All right, so we'll get into El Sacchio on Thursday. With all that being said, we are the BenchWarmers, the bench with a voice. Where the bench is always warm. Peace, everybody.